Hey guys, so for today's video I am going to be testing out this metallic nail pen as well as this 3D nail art gel that I got from the Dollar Tree. I did just film a haul video that included these along with some other items that I got. But I wanted to make a video here testing these to see how they worked and to let you guys know if they are actually worth it to go try and hunt down and spend $1.25 on them. Like I said in my haul video, I only saw these at one Dollar Tree, and I went to like 4 or 5 different Dollar Trees, and these were only at one of the ones that I went to. So I don't know if they're new and they haven't been brought out at all of them, or if they're like a super popular item and it's being bought up very quickly, or like if it's just at select Dollar Trees. I don't know how all that works, but yeah, these were kind of hard to find, I guess you could say, since I did only see them at one Dollar Tree that I went to out of the many that I went to. But they do have, so this one I got the clear in the 3D gel, but they also have pink as well. I just didn't get that because if this does work well, I knew that the pink wouldn't get used, so I didn't want to buy that and just have it sit in the drawer and basically, you know, waste money on that, even though it is $1.25. I'm like, that's really not much, but you know, still. And then for the metallic nail pen, there was the silver and there was also gold. Again, I only bought the silver because I knew that would get used more if it does work and if I like it. Compared to gold, I'm not really a gold person, so I don't tend to use gold. But just so you guys are aware, there is silver and gold in this, and there is clear and pink in this. So if they do end up working and you guys are interested, then you know there are 2 colors of each, or at least 2 colors that I saw. I don't know if there's more colors of these or what, but that is what I saw. So I am actually gonna go ahead and start with this since it is gel and it does need to cure, which it does very clearly state here on the front. Requires a UV LED lamp, which Dollar Tree does not sell those, so you would have to already have one or go out and get one. If you are new to doing gel nails, you do want to make sure you are getting a full-sized lamp, and not one of the little flash cure lamps. I know like Walgreens, Walmart, Target, they're like starting to sell lamps too, but those are only flash cure lamps. They're not full size, full powered lamps. So you do want to make sure you're doing your research if you're new to using gel, and make sure you are getting, you know, the proper equipment and everything so you're not having any issues. But it does say very clearly right here on the front of the package that it does require UV LED lamp. So you can't mistake that and think that, you know, because you know there are some nail polishes out there that are like, it says a gel-like shine or whatever, and some people get confused on if that is actually gel or not. It would say on the bottle somewhere or like that it, but anyhow, so it says very clearly here And then back here we have our directions and stuff. Clean and prep nails, apply base coat and cure. If using gel polish, apply the gel in desired shape or design on nails for a 3D effect. Cure under UV LED lamp for 60 seconds. Apply layer of top coat and cure for additional 60 seconds. This style tip: add nail gems or pearls before curing for a more elevated look. So I guess you can use this for like a rhinestone glue or something as well. Then you have your storage, caution, ingredients, if you care about all of that. So we are going to go ahead and open this up here and see. Sometimes I hate these kinds of packaging because it always does this. Like, it can't just rip off nicely like that. How much is this? 0.2 ounce or 6 grams. Let me... I'm trying to see. Okay, so this is 15 milliliters. And then this... Oh, this one is 10 grams. Okay, so I think 15 milliliters is like kind of standard within the nail community for like stuff. So I mean, the tube is like this, almost the same size, but like how much it actually holds is a different story, you know? Also, I don't know how much 15 milliliters is in ounces or grams, so I don't know. The size between the Dollar Tree and then this is Nails by Dev, the Groovy Glob, which is a 3D gel. The Nails by Dev one is a little bit smaller, or like shorter here. If I can, here, let me lay it down on the, you can see here, like they're even cap to cap. This one is a little shorter, but it does say back here it is 10 grams, if you can see that. And this one says it's 6 grams. But I do feel like that, okay, so I feel like the Nails by Dev tube is a little thicker compared to the Dollar Tree tube, but also when I squeeze, you can see like it's not squeezing a lot, like it's pretty thick in there. And then this one, it's like super squeezy. So just a little comparison there. I don't know. You know, I'm not the one weighing out everything and seeing how much it is, and I'm not gonna weigh these tubes to see, but just in case you were curious. Here is the little nozzle here, which actually I do want to. So this is the Nail Couture Squeeze Gummy Jelly. This tube it's almost empty. It is a rhinestone glue, but I do use it for 3D stuff. It's kind of, okay, it's a huge mess. Let me, hold on. Okay, I got it cleaned off. So here is the Nail Couture Squeeze Gummy Jelly Rhinestone Glue. The opening is kind of hard to see, I feel like, but there it is. That's the nozzle. Here is the Dollar Tree one. It is a little more rounded at the tip, whereas this one is kind of like flat. The opening looks to be about the same size opening. Actually, the Dollar Tree one might be a tad bit bigger on the opening. And then here we have the Nails by Dev one, which is also more flat on the nozzle here. And then the opening, yeah, it's about the same. You can see it's like trying to ooze out. Might have accidentally started squeezing. Oopsies. And then also, just for comparison, here are the lids. This one here is the Nail Couture. This one is Nails by Dev. This one is Dollar Tree. So they are different on the lids. Like the Nail Couture and the Nails by Dev both kind of have like that solid plate there, I guess you could call it. I guess kind of like a little stopper here, whereas the Dollar Tree one, like it has the where the nozzle goes in and then it's just open. I don't know if that makes any kind of difference or anything when it comes to like potential leaking. I've never had an issue with either this Nails by Dev one or the Nail Couture one leaking. So I don't know, we'll see about this one. I will be sure to keep you guys updated on if I experience any leaking with this, and like, but I don't know, we'll see. Let's just squeeze some out here. It comes out very easy. You don't have to put a whole lot of pressure. And that is what that looks like. You can see it is 3D. I'm gonna kind of hold it upright like this to see if it drips down at all and how, like, if it moves, which it doesn't appear to be. Like, it is staying, it might be sinking a little bit actually. It's actually, yeah, it is. So I don't know if you can tell, but it did spread some. It's still super bubbled up in 3D. It's just wider now compared to the first line that I squeezed out there. So it does, like, if you hold it a certain way, it will, like, gravity will pull it down. Which, unless it's like a really, really thick gel, like, you know, the sculpting gels or whatever, I feel like that's pretty expected. But I am just letting it sit here to see, like, if it levels out or, like, flattens out at all. It is flattening out just a tiny bit. But even with just sitting here with it, I don't know if you guys saw any of that. I just saw that it was out of focus. It's not flattening out a whole lot. So let me go ahead and cure this for 60 seconds. So here it is cured for the full 60 seconds. I do have a little air bubble there, which, you know, that happens with 3D gels and all that. You get air bubbles. But I do have this dotting tool here. I want to, like, poke into it to see, like, does it cure hard or does it cure that, like, rubbery feel? Because I feel like these type of gels do tend to cure rubbery, so I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, okay. No, that it might be a little rubbery. I kind of want to, okay, I'm gonna do this. I shouldn't do this because if it does have a sticky layer, that's the inhibition layer, which is uncured gel, and you're not supposed to touch uncured gel. But for the sake of testing to see, I am going to, it's sticky. But I don't know if that's like, no, that's, yeah, that's sticky. It's not like super sticky, but it does have a little bit of a sticky layer there. So I don't know how well that would work with chrome. That's why I touched it, because when things cure without the inhibition layer, they work well with chrome. But that is something we can test out here. But yeah, it even like touching it, it doesn't feel like, it's not that rubbery feel, you know, like for some clear 3D gels, even like the sculpting gels, they cure rubbery instead of solid. This one does cure like solid. So yeah, it does have a little bit of an inhibition layer. It's not like a huge inhibition layer. It's like not super sticky, but it is kind of like tacky. But yeah, that is solid. That's actually really nice. Okay, but that is after, you know, letting it sit and stuff. I will do another line here so you can see like the difference between letting it sit and just doing it right away. If I can get any out. There's a lot of air in here. So there, that is something to keep in mind. There's a lot of air. But see, that's after letting it sit for a while. That's straight out the tube. I am going to go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. So here they are. This one was wiped off with alcohol, so it is a little cloudy. This one looks more clear. So when you top coat, it will look more clear like that. This one's just cloudy because I wiped it off with alcohol. But that's what that looks like. You could definitely, because you know I did let this first strip here sit for a while, you can get away with doing a few lines here. Before needing to cure, so you could do a couple lines and then flash cure, and then do a couple more lines and then flash cure that. I am just going to cure that for 60 seconds. And then, hold on, got some chrome powder. I do want to test and see if this works. Okay, and I dropped the sponge. Okay, I do want to test and see if this does work with chrome powder. Because if this works with chrome powder, that's going to be really, really cool. So here's our first little test nail here, just testing out how well it squeezes out and everything. It's very easy to like squeeze, well, I don't want to say it's very easy to squeeze it out because there is a lot of air in here, so you do kind of have to push it down and squish it. But like once you do get them out, it does come out of the tube very easy. It's very easy to maneuver it and like get these nice little stripes here. Okay, so I'm going to, I don't know how long I'll need to cure this for. That's something that you have to test out with your lamp and everything. But I am just going to do this line here. And then I'm going to cure it for the full 60. Okay, now we're going to take some of this chrome here and just rub that on. So it does stick, which is great. But curing it for the full 60 gives you like that grainy kind of metallic type of look instead of the smooth chrome look. But if you like this look as opposed to the smooth look, you can cure it for the full 60 and it does stick. I'm going to do another stripe here, and I'm only gonna cure it for 30 because sometimes you do have to only partially cure in order to get that smooth, shiny chrome finish. So we're gonna see. We're gonna do 30 seconds here. Okay, so now we're gonna rub that on. Oh, that still gives that grainy look. You know what? It's probably not going to, the less I cure it, it's probably not going to end up getting that smooth chrome finish just because it does kind of have a sticky layer. It's not a no wipe type of situation now that I'm thinking about it. So I think no matter how long you cure it, you are gonna get this grainy look, which honestly, it's not that bad. However, if you are going for like the smooth mirror like chrome finish, obviously this is not what you're looking for. I am going to try one more thing. I am going to see, because I know some people will apply the gel and then wipe with alcohol or even acetone and do the chrome after that, and that's how they've found chrome to work for them. So I do want to test that out and see if that would work for this, since it's air. There's a lot of air in here, but yeah, I do want to test that. Can't talk. I want to test that out and see like what would happen if I do that. So I am going to go ahead and cure for the full 60 seconds here. Okay, and now I'm going to wipe it off with some alcohol. And then we're going to take the chrome and rub that on. Oh, that worked. Oh, that worked really well. I think it would have worked a little better if I wasn't trying to like not touch this, and I could actually like get in there and really scrub it. But because you can kind of see it is a little grainy up here because I didn't really touch up there, but like down here, look at that. Now that gives more of a chrome mirror-like finish, but like I said, it's not the best because I was trying really hard not to touch these to wipe off the chrome. So I do think it could be better, like if I could, like I said, if I could actually get in there and like really rub it in and like scrub it. But that worked really well, wiping it off with some alcohol, and it gave that smooth, I'm trying to like, there we go, gave more of that smooth mirror like chrome finish instead of the grainy metallic finish. Oh, that is so cool. Both look really cool, I'm not gonna lie. Like the grainy look on those first two are really cool. Like if that's the effect you're going for, then you know, but if you are going for more of that shiny mirror like, oh, that worked so well. And I realized as I was curing, I've been doing these stripes, I haven't done any little dots, so I do want to do a couple little dots just to see. I'm not gonna put chrome on these, but just want to see how the dots work. But there we can do some little drops. So like if you want to do like the wet look or like the raindrops or whatever, you can do that there. And here it is, all cured. And here it is from the side, so you can see like how raised up it is and how 3D it is. Obviously you can do another layer or flip it upside down before you cure it to get it more raised up if you want, but just putting it on and then sticking it in the lamp, this is how much of a 3D effect you're going to get with it, which is really nice. And then all of the chrome, and then here it is, the little stripes we were doing over here. So it does hold its shape really well. You can get a few little dots done or a few stripes done before sticking it in the lamp, and it's not going to like flatten out or anything. Even with this top one here, even though I did hold it and like, you know, held it up like this to see how quickly it ran down, and like held it flat to see how much it would flatten out and level out, it still does have a pretty decent 3D effect here. It is raised up pretty high. It did obviously like flatten out and spread. I don't even know what I was saying. I know I was talking about this. And how it flattens out and whatever. But it doesn't flatten out so quickly that you couldn't do a few stripes. Like you can do a few stripes and then flash cure those and be good. You don't have to like rush super fast, but you do kind of want to be a little bit fast, you know. But you saw how I sat there with that, just sitting there for quite a while, and this is all it did in that time. So it still does keep some 3D-ness. It just is spread. I think it mainly spread out as much as it did because I was holding it upright like this and purposefully trying to see if it would like drag down the nail at all. So I think that's why it's on the wide side. I think it will get a little bit wider if you just let it sit like this, but I don't know if it would widen out that much, but I don't know. But this stuff is really cool and it works really well. Definitely recommend it. So if you're ever at the Dollar Tree, or if you need some 3D nail gel real quick, check out the Dollar Tree. It's also only $1.25, and it works. And it does cure, like I said earlier, it does cure on the hard side. It's not like that gummy kind of rubbery cure. And you can use chrome on it. And again, if you are going to use chrome and you want the more shiny mirror-like finish, you do want to wipe it off with some alcohol to get that. Maybe even acetone. Like I said, I've seen people try acetone. I should probably try that, but I don't feel like getting out another nail tip. I do have a couple more nail tips here, but that's to test out the metallic pen. But anyhow, wipe it off with some alcohol and you'll get more of that mirror-like finish. Otherwise, you're going to get like the metallic grainy finish, which, you know, depending on the look you're going for, you might want that, or you might want the mirror-like finish. But this works really well. This works really well. I really like this. I definitely want to go get more of these little tubes here so I can have some more of this before it all gets bought up. I will say the only problem that I have with it is how much air is in it. There is, for as big as this tube is, there is a lot of air, and I feel like not a lot of product. Like I said, when I was comparing it, like the Nails by Dev tube is just a tiny bit smaller. I don't like, it's really not that much smaller, but it does have 10 grams and this has 6 grams, so they obviously can get more of the gel product in here. I do think that there does need to be some air in tubes like these, that way they're not like busting at the seams and like the product isn't like, when you go to squeeze the tube, it doesn't like rip the seam open and start oozing out the top here, because you know, like physics or whatever, I'm pretty sure there has to be a little bit of air in there, but like not as much as they actually have in here. Like there is a lot of air in here. I would like a little bit more product. They could get they could get at least 3 more grams of product in here probably, and we'd be fine. So that's my only problem with it, is, you know, how little you get in it for as big of the tube is and how much air is in here. I am going to stick it in my drawer here with my other tubes of gel, and like I said, I will keep you updated on if we have any leakage. But I don't know, we'll see. As of right now, I do really like this. I mean, even if it does leak, I'm still gonna like it. I mean, it's gonna be annoying to have it leaking, and if it does start leaking, the best thing to do would be to store it upright like this, so that way the nozzle isn't, you know, pointed down to where the stuff could come out, or like down like this to where it can all come out. That's a little bit annoying, but honestly it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, it can be a big deal if it's getting all over everything and like wasting product and whatever, but there's a solution for that easily, to just store it differently, you know? But yeah, this is actually really nice. Oh, I should have tested, like, because I say you can put your rhinestones and charms on it. I'll have to, that's a test that I would have to do like on myself to see like if it actually holds well, and like how long and how well it holds on the nail with wear. So that's a test for another time. Now moving on to this metallic nail pen. It's that same brand, the B color. This is 0.08 fluid ounces or 2.5 milliliters. I don't know what's standard for these type of pens, nail art pens, so I don't know if this is normal or not. Directions: apply your favorite nail polish or base coat and allow it to fully dry. Shake the metallic nail pen and gently press the tip down on a paper towel to ensure the ink is flowing. Draw your desired design over the nail polish. Finish with your favorite top coat and allow to dry. To prevent clogs, gently wipe the tip with a paper towel after use. Use a small amount of rubbing alcohol to clean any dried paint from the tip. Store in a cool, dry place. Caution: ingredients. And that's it. This is basically just like an acrylic paint pen, essentially. That's what like most of the nail art pens are. So it is air dry. You don't need a lamp for this or anything. And if you're someone that just paints your nails with regular polish, like, you can use this. You can use it on gel polish too, but Yeah, you don't have to worry about getting a lamp or anything. You can just use this straight on your nails. So this is what the tip looks like here. Just straight out of the packaging. What does it say? Shake and gently press. Okay, so I'm going to shake it. You can hear the, oop, I just whacked all of my swatches, but you can hear the little, like, you can hear it shaking in there, so it's like mixing up all the ingredients or whatever, so it's like an even kind of coat or whatever. And then press it down. I am just going to be using this little thing here. Oh, I only pressed it down like 3 times and it already came down, and it's not like leaking out or spilling out or anything. I know that can be a problem with these like acrylic paint pens. Even like with normal acrylic paint pens that you use for like drawing and coloring and stuff, like that can be a problem. I like the point on, like it is very pointed. So I'm just going to test it out here. So that's just kind of what it's looking like here on this paper. It didn't, or this cardboard backing, I'm not putting a whole lot of, like, any pressure or anything, but so that's what it looks like here. I feel like it does dry fairly. No. I was gonna say I feel like it dries quickly, but I can see like the little shimmery bits moving around. They're moving within the design, and they're not like going outside of the design, but they are still wet here. So I think this is going to take hitting that. I think it is going to take a little bit of time to dry. I think if you can get it pretty thin and not like a whole lot of product, it will dry a lot quicker, whereas if I just leave it sit here like this, you can kind of see it, like, I'm trying to get you to see it, but you can see like it's just like a puddle here if you just hold it. But if you're like quick with it and have light pressure, like those aren't a puddle, you know? I mean, even doing little dots like this are going to take a little bit longer, but that is kind of nice. You can just dab it on and it'll, you don't have to like push down or like hold it or anything. But you can kind of see that it's starting to dry. Oh, no, you can't because I'm not it. You can see it's starting to dry up here on these. And then down here, it still is a little wet. Same with like the smiley face here. You can see that the smile is like drying, and then like the outside of the eyes. So you can definitely tell when it's drying or when it's dried just by kind of looking at it, at least here. So let's try here on the nail. I'm just gonna do some random little doodle. I keep hitting my swatches. Some random little doodles like I did there. And this is an unprepped tip, so there's no polish. I didn't etch it or anything, so we can see here it does kind of not want to stick very well. So should have listened to the directions there and apply my base coat or whatever, but you know, at least this is a good test, you know, to see how well it works on an unprepped tip. So if you were thinking about just drawing on an unprepped tip like this, now you know it does kind of separate a little bit. Not a whole lot, but it does look kind of funky. A little smiley face. We'll do a little heart. What a star. Straight lines. Do some dots. And then let's do a little flower. Oh, that was a really bad flower. Okay, it looks like a cloud. We'll just say it's a cloud. So there's that. Let me see. Okay, so these squiggly lines are dried on. They're not smearing as I'm rubbing my finger on it. And I am pushing down. So those are dry. It dries really quick, actually, here on the nail. Okay, so my little flower cloud did smear just a tiny bit. It wasn't fully dried, but everything else is dry on here. The flower is mostly dried, but just that little bit there. Oh yeah, that actually dried really quick. This is really fun. I am going to paint the base of this one. I'm gonna do black, just because I'm using silver and I feel like it'll show up the best. I'm only gonna do one coat since I'm just testing this out. There's like lint in it, but I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. The question here is, do I need to remove the sticky layer, the inhibition layer? I probably do. I'm going to, but I wonder if you actually have to. I don't know. I'm going to, just to be safe, so like nothing gets contaminated. Also, I just always wipe the inhibition layer off before going in with any nail art, so we'll see how well this works. I'm just gonna do the same thing, some little squiggle. I think because I had it laid down on its side for a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna do some little squigglies. Do some straight lines. I mean, they're not very straight, but that's okay. Could do a little smiley face. My drawings are great. Okay, let's see if I can do a better flower. Okay, that actually looks like a flower this time instead of a cloud. And some little dots. Okay, so you do have to give it a little bit of time to dry. Otherwise, you are going to have some smudging and smearing. But by the time I got down to these dots, all this up here was dry. So, doesn't take a whole lot of time to dry, but you know, you do have smudging if you're not careful, which actually is a good test here to see, can we wipe it off? If we make a mistake like this and accidentally smudge it, or we, you know, drew something that we didn't necessarily want, can we wipe this off and restart like we can with just regular gel polish? You can. It does take a little bit of scrubbing to get it off though, especially when it's already dried. Maybe if you like catch it right away, it'll come off easier. It does leave a little bit of shimmer on the nail. I don't know if you can see that. I can definitely see it in person. I feel like right there you can kind of see like it is a little cloudy from the getting smeared around, so you might have to wipe it off a couple times, but even then I don't know. Me wiping it with my fingers doing a little something. Let me see if I wipe it off a second time. I need this to dry so I can actually see. Okay, I think wiping it off a second time took more off. So it does take a little extra work to wipe it off, because it does kind of just want to stick, but you can. Let's test out my theory here on, it might be easier if you wipe it off immediately. So let me get my little lint wipe here, or lint free wipe. I'm going to draw it. You do have to, if you have it laying on its side for a while, you do have to like kind of reactivate it. So we're going to just draw this line here and then wipe it off. It does come off a lot easier if you wipe it off immediately instead of letting it dry. But it still does kind of leave, like, there is a little like grayish film left behind. So you kind of do want to make sure that whatever design you're doing, you get it the first time. Like I said, honestly, probably once you top coat it, you're not even gonna see it. Especially on a black base like this. If you're doing white or yellow or like a light pink or something, that might be a different story, but I don't know. So we're just gonna do our little doodles. Oop. Well, that star has an extra leg. Oh, my flower is... It looks more like a butterfly. Oh well. But yeah, this looks really well too. I'm really happy with this. And then, well, you can't really see it anymore, but like they did some French tips and some leaf looking things on here. So like you can basically just do whatever you want with this. And it is a little bit easier to use than, you know, a liner brush and some polish. And it's a lot quicker because you don't have to, you know, flash cure and wait for it. You just only have to wait a few seconds for it to dry. Oh, something wasn't dry fully. I think it was the flower. And oh, the star's not either. Those were a little, that one was a little like filled in. I did go over it a couple times. So obviously the thinner your lines are, the quicker they're going to dry, and if you have more of a glob of it on, it's going to take a little bit longer, but I mean still, it really doesn't take that long. A few seconds. Let's top coat it to see what it looks like top coated. Ideally, you probably want to float the top coat over just to be safe, but this top coat is almost out. But also this is a good test to see if it does smudge and smear by like putting pressure and dragging it, and it's not. The little smeared bits are from me rubbing my finger over it to see if it was dry. But like you can see, there's no smudging there. I want to, let me put matte top coat on this one. And I gotta find, okay, I'm gonna use this Nail Reserve matte top coat that I have, which Nail Reserve does not exist anymore. But anyhow, I know this one, when I tested it out, it did cause smudging and smearing. Typically I use the Nails by Dev matte top coat. It's a wipe off matte top coat, and there's no smudging or smearing ever with that, which I think is common for a wipe off matte top coat. Whereas if you use a no wipe matte top coat, they do tend to smudge and smear, or at least that's what I've read before and I've heard from other people. So this Nail Reserve one is a no wipe, so I'm going to use that to test and see if there's any smudging or smearing if you were to top with a matte top coat. And again, putting pressure and really dragging it, and there is no smudging or smearing once you let it fully dry, which is really nice. There's also no transfer on the brush at all. I'm going to go ahead and cure those. And here's how they look once they're cured. This actually looks really cool matte. Kind of looks like chalk almost. Oh, that would be so cool to do like a chalkboard type of look, like for back to school or something, and do it matte, and then it looks like chalk. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. It looks like chalk. That would be so cool. But it looks really cool matte. Looks really nice shiny too. And again, the smudging and smearing over here was from me rubbing my finger over it and not everything being fully dried. So, like I said, you do want to give it a few seconds to fully dry, a little bit extra if you're like filling something in, or if you're doing like really big dots or something, or you've gone over something a few times. But it really doesn't take long to dry at all. This is really fun. Now I want to get more colors. Like I said earlier, at the Dollar Tree all I had was the silver and gold, but I do know like you can buy these from various different places, you know, your typical places that everyone buys nail products from: Amazon, Temu, AliExpress, maybe Shein, I don't know. And then, you know, you can go for the more expensive ones from like, I want to say Sweetie Nail Supply, and maybe Zilbu have some on there as well, or like, you know, actual nail supply places will probably have them that are probably a little more on the more expensive side. You honestly probably could go to like a craft store like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and get the acrylic paint art pens, because that is what this is essentially. It's just basically acrylic paint. That's why it also dries so quickly, because acrylic paint does dry very quickly. You could probably honestly just buy some of those, you know, whatever ends up being the cheaper option. Don't take my word for that though, because you may not be able to use it. You might be able to, but you might not. I mean, you can use colored pencils on your nails. You know, people have been doing that, just regular old colored pencils from the store. So you probably, honestly, you really could. I used to use acrylic paint, just regular old acrylic paint on my nails all the time to do nail art. So an acrylic paint pen is going to be the same thing. You just draw it on, wait for it to dry, and then you're good to go, you know? So yeah, whatever ends up being the cheapest, just find some acrylic paint pens. Even if they're not, you know, marketed towards nails, you could still use them. But yeah, this is really fun. I'm gonna need to get some more of these, and in different colors. Kind of want to do one of those little doodle nails that I've seen people doing, because they're really cute. I've been wanting to do some doodle nails. I was just gonna do them with, you know, regular gel polish, but I want to get some more of these little acrylic paint pens or nail paint pens. Whatever I can get my hands on, do that. They're fun. They're quick and easy too. So yeah, these two products here worked really well. They're great. I really like them. You know, first impression wise, I really like them. I don't know, you know, longevity of them and how well they will hold up over time with like wear and tear, if this is going to end up chipping off at all. You know, I do still have a few more tests to do, but you know, first impression, I do really like them. I think they're really good. I think they're really worth it for the price point. You know, they were only $1.25 and they work really well. So if, you know, you're at the Dollar Tree and you see them, I would grab them. Or, you know, if you see this video and you've been looking for, you know, nail paint pens or 3D gel, go out and to your Dollar Tree. Like I said earlier, you might have to go to a few of them, but I would definitely get some of these. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.